So at this point, you kind of have an idea of the general structure of what this training event is going to be. And remember what I talked about the training event. It's the same thing over and over and over. Rip off and duplicate. And eventually someday you can hire someone to instruct it for you because they teach the material not from experience. That makes it a pretty big concept, right? So now I just want to step back. I want you to feel me and maybe how this should be put on as a performance art to get what you need out of it. So gets promoted. People register on Eventbrite. Your assistant calls and says, hey, we see that you registered for the workshop. We are so excited to see you. Thank you for coming. If there's anyone else that you think that should come, feel free to share. Everyone comes into the room. I'm going to use a physical example right now as opposed to a Zoom example, okay? But let's say they come into the room. I personally like a nice U-shaped table. On this table, I went and got a notebook, cheap notebook. And basically, someone can write all their notes in so they can jot everything down. Got a pen. And on top of that, down below is I have the outline for the material today. So, I like to brand the room a little bit. This could just be a picture of your brokerage or a picture of your logo of your coaching company, whatever it may be. And I have a projector here with a laptop. So if I want to use examples on the screen, it's very easy for you to use a projector to share everything here. Now, last thing is I want you to notice is I have a camera over here. So this is an actual camcorder. Any one of these is fine. I mean, they all have different kinds, but like a real camcorder. There's a real camcorder here because it needs to record for like 3 hours straight, right? Like it needs to be able to have a lot of time. A lot of cameras will shut off after 30 minutes. It needs to be a halfway decent camera so it can zoom in on me. Here's how this works. So I would get up to the room. I welcome everyone here. I think one of the things that you'll find with a lot of professional speakers is you always open with a story. And the purpose of opening with the story is to relate to the audience. And that's going to ease everyone in. I was in your shoes. All right. So now based upon what I've learned through my journey, you guys are all starting your journey too in real estate or looking to further it. Here's the outline for today. So we're going to spend about 20 minutes right now or whatever it may be, an hour, hour and a half, and whatever. Remember, the time can be whatever you want it to be. A lot of the people in the audience are existing agents. So given that in mind, you might want to go more in depth than not because you really want them to actually know what they're supposed to be doing. Let's talk about lead generation. Everyone open up your workbook, write down lead generation on the top of the first page. Let's go through what we have to do for lead generation. So I would go through my 3 tips. Here's 3 things. Here's what I do for buyer leads. Here's what I do for seller leads. Here's what I do for database. Here's what I recommend. Here's how we go about it. Let me show you the examples. Let me show you how it all works. All right. At the end of the lead generation section, which let's say you have about 20 minutes to talk about. Let's say everyone right now on that sheet of paper, on one of the pages of your notebook, I want you to write down the one thing you're going to leave here today to improve your lead generation. What is it? And then you go around the room and they all say it. And this continues, right, for the 6 or 7 things that you're going to cover through your workshop. They're writing a business plan is what they're doing. At the very end, you have them open the very last page and say, write down my action steps. Write down number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, whatever it is, and write out what they committed to in the first section. Write out what they committed to in the second section. Write out what they committed to in the third section for listing presentations. The fourth section, let's say, for listing management. So at this point, at the end of your event, they have a different page for all their notes of all the different sections. How great is this, right? And at the very end, to wrap it all up of like, what do I do now? 1 page of all their action steps for the 7 things they can do to move their business forward.